DAE feel it is inappropriate for someone to take a picture of the deceased at a funeral without asking the consent of the deceased family? Yeah. Kind of a dick move. I wouldn't do it. This was a popular thing to do in the 1800s. I don't get it. It's morbid. I think even with consent it seems like a weird and inappropriate thing to do. I've only taken pics of a deceased family member at the request of my grandmother. It was her son and my father, so I gladly complied. I know it was a common practice in the 1800s, but I'd never do it any other time. What's cool now but in 20 years will be embarrassing. Plastic surgery fads. They've escalated dangerously in the past decade. We're finally starting to see people go to get their fillers dissolved. In 20 years, overinflated lips should be cringy. People act our entire scenes with themselves playing both characters. Some TikTokers do it incredibly well and develop thoughtful and engaging content with just themselves. The majority, though, are going to embarrass the fuck out of themselves. The overblown girlboss trope in movies recently. Nothing against capable female leads. More about how lazy writers choose to show their prowess. You can depict the elven general as capable without dumbing down the male soldiers to acting like undisciplined recruits. Performative mental health problems. My teens got swept up in some kind of dissociative identity disorder fad from TikTok and YouTube. Desperate to convince everyone that they were systems of. 500 alters. It later spun out into a bunch of other disorders like. They thought it was cool to have a bunch of mental health disorders because social media makes it look so cool and quirky. I'm absolutely convinced that in 20 years they're going to deny this ever happened. Hollywood/Amazon/ and Netflix taking SJW approach to movies, reboots, and TV series. There's a time and place for it. Using established characters, stories, and even the fans for your own narrative is as stupid as it is selfish. The kids' hairstyles, TikTok, in general, and everything surrounding it. The slang. Fashion is cyclical, but the style of now will be bleg. Hopefully working 9 to 5 for low wages. Working 5 days a week is normal. Offices. And people only caring about the color of others' skin. What is the alarming about you that is not that noticeable? I really frequently get complimented on how chill I am. But it's mostly because I fervently avoid confrontation at all possible costs. I've been an anxious person literally my entire life. I remember it being an issue as far back as my memory goes. Nowadays it's at its worst in that I feel physically ill most times when I'm alone in public because I have some looming feeling that I'm in grave danger somehow. But yes, apparently I give the impression that I'm super chill, so yay for that, I guess? I spend most of my waking hours in at least some level of pain due to my stomach hurting or otherwise bothering me. I also choke frequently when I eat or drink and have to try really hard to swallow and not have whatever I try to swallow come right back up. I also skip meals and or stop drinking for a while sometimes because sometimes I just get so sick of it that I can't physically stand it anymore, even though I've gotten dizzy and gotten blinding headaches from doing so before. Going to the doctor hasn't helped much in the past, and with how shitty my insurance is, I can't afford better insurance. I'm hesitant to try again. I usually come off as very friendly and chill. So people usually aren't expecting that I'm not very patient. I'm quick to take a liking to people. But I'm also equally quick to eat them again if they manage to annoy me in any way. Oh. And also my anxiety. You thought you and your new friend/me had a fun event planned tonight? Psych, I'm in bed paralyzed by anxiety because I realized how ugly I am while I was doing my makeup. So now I can't go outside for at least 2 days. I always get you're always so relaxed and talkative, I never would have guessed you feel like this, so that is always a fun surprise to everyone. Do bar workers usually start a conversation with a person who's alone? This isn't really my scene, but I would assume bar staff is working for tips in most cases. Yeah. That's kinda part of the job. Also sometimes they're bored and it beats cleaning. She was just doing her job, Lamau. It's a bartender's job to be approachable and friendly, you get bigger tips that way. She was probably just doing her job. Sorry to say. I find when I go to bars alone everyone talks to me. Since there were other people there and she singled you out. Yeah, she probably was rather attracted to you and waned to see where things went. And since it went nowhere she thought you weren't really interested. Then when you texted her she's probably thought you were looking for a hookup, so she became incredibly dry. It was like, you had your shot and you blew it. What's the best use of music in film or TV? Trainspotting and The Runaways have really good soundtracks. And Twilight 1:2. Anytime it's slow-mo with no sound effects and just a really good piece of emotional music. Mystery of Love and Call Me By Your Name. California Dreaming in Chungking Express. The Four Seasons in Portrait of a Lady on Fire. All the music in Moonlight. The Hunger Games soundtrack was really well done. For me anyway. I felt like it captured her character arc well. Probably not the objectively correct answer, but I like the use of music in Baby Driver a lot. The soundtrack to Pride Prejudice is perfect for the setting and time period. Anything by Danny Elfman or Hans Zimmer, e.g. Pirates of the Caribbean. The matching of the music to the mood is exquisite. When they played Missing You in the final scene of the movie set it off. Also God is trying to tell you something in The Color Purple. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, specifically when the beacons has been lit and Theoden answers and Rohan will answer in Quat. That sentence starts the most epic cue and it gives me goosebumps every time. For TV I have to say it's Ramin Djawadi for me. Both for Light of the Seven and Game of Thrones and his gorgeous cover of Radiohead's exit music for a film. Those strings. I wouldn't say it's the best of all time. But the use of Lou Reed's Perfect Day in the overdose scene in Trainspotting is a personal favorite of mine. Oh. And also Mika Levi's score for the movie Under the Skin. I really enjoyed the usage of On the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter in the film Arrival. Its pacing mirrors that of the film. And its slow build and inclusion of other instruments sends me chills when overlaid with that specific scene. I was ugly crying.